Breaking news, the sirens going off in the nation's heartland, a deadly tornado outbreak. Severe storms turning over semi-trucks, roofs ripped off houses, thousands without power, and hail raining down. A dramatic rescue with more than 50 children trapped underneath that rubble. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dan Kleffler in New York. And so many areas sizing up the damage, picking up the pieces. I want to get right to it now. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano joining us from Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Rob, a tremendous number of storms hitting that area.
Yeah, Dan, just a frightening day beginning really yesterday afternoon when these storms exploded over central and eastern Oklahoma. The first to touch down just west of Tulsa in Sand Springs. Unfortunately, one fatality there just down the road. And we here are in West Tulsa, right on the outskirts of town. Behind me is what was a gymnasium, a nonprofit group that runs a gymnasium here. A woman that founded it teaches these kids, and she's been doing it for over 6 years now. But you can see behind me, I mean, that roof completely ripped apart and collapsed. Well, there was 50 kids in there when the storm was coming through. She gathered them up. She got the older kids to tell the younger kids what to do, and they got down to the basement, and they all survived without a scratch. A dramatic experience. And I talked with Jennifer Patterson, the director of this gymnastics school, a little bit earlier this morning. Take a listen. Oh, look at what was your nightmare just a few hours ago.
It was pretty crazy. It was a little bit of a nightmare, but you know, I'm just looking at all this and I'm so thankful because right here in this exact spot is where I was coaching my kids on the uneven bars. There used to be a set of uneven bars right here. Those kids were taking turns on. They've got their state competition this weekend, and so we were getting ready for their state meet.
So just as the storm was coming through, you were on the other side of this wall with a roof overhead, kids on the apparatus.
Yeah, they're right here.
And when did you decide to take cover?
I heard the sirens. We had been watching the weather. I was aware that there was a threat of severe weather. And so I'd been paying attention, and just the minute that I heard the sirens, I just said, hey, let's go. And we had, kids in other areas of the gym, and we had a dance studio over there. And so we got everybody and all the parents and headed down to the basement.
Friday stuff. I talked to one of her students, a 12-year-old who's been practicing here for 6 years. They have a meet tomorrow, and they're going to go on and compete in that meet. But that 12-year-old told me in detail what those kids were going through down in that basement, how they were eventually started crying as brave as they wanted to be. It was a scary thing. And then you can just imagine, Dan, what would it be like to climb through the rubble and then come to look at what's left of this place that you come to as a sanctuary for something you love to do. So they're certainly thankful for their lives, but a scary night for such.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of determination, and obviously happening so quickly. I mean, it sounds as if it just hit with such force and with such fast timing. Was everyone given a heads up on this? I mean, everyone able to prepare as adequately as they possibly could? I mean, I know the sirens went off, but I know sometimes these tornadoes can form very quickly.
Yeah, well, the Storms Prediction Center had highlighted this area on this for yesterday, a couple of days before that. So there was a few days warning. The main threat was really going to be hail and straight line winds, but it was going to be a dangerous day, and there was a tornado watch that had been posted much earlier in the day for this entire area. So people knew that it was going to be a day where they were going to be at risk. So and Jennifer Patterson, the woman that runs this gymnasium, told me she wasn't entirely surprised to hear that siren go off. And they do have sirens here. This is Tornado Alley, so they know when that siren goes off, it means business and it's time to take action. So that certainly saved some lives, and it was the issuance of the tornado warning by the National Weather Service dual polar Doppler radars that were able to find that tornado before it touched the ground. And then we got confirmed reports of it on the ground just west of here, where it did take one life and stayed on the ground for we're not sure how long, but the National Weather Service is going to be on site in the next few hours to determine the size and strength of this twister, which, by the way, is the first tornado that we have seen in the month of March. If we were to go the entire month, that hasn't been done in recorded history. It's been an unusually quiet severe weather season so far for 2015. Obviously, when you look at what's going on behind me, there's a stark reminder that no matter how quiet the season is, it can change in an instant, and we're about to get into the busy time for sure, Dan.
Very quickly as well. And Oklahoma, not the only state that was hit by these storms, right?
No, pushed off into Arkansas, into Missouri. Luckily today, it's not one of these things that shifts east and gets into Dixie Alley, into Tennessee and Alabama and Georgia. The larger system is in that area, and there is a marginal risk for severe weather, but we don't expect a bowling ball effect where today we're going to see things light up like we did yesterday. So that is the good news, just a marginal risk for severe weather as this larger system progresses off to the east. But we're just getting into really the meat of severe weather season. April and May is really prime time, Dan.
All right, and unbelievable. I mean, I know you spoke with that gymnasium teacher and some of her students as well there, but I mean, for as much as you might want to prepare living in that area that is unfortunately used to those kinds of tornadoes, were they just absolutely shocked by how quickly these hit?
I think that, they probably became a little bit complacent because it's been so quiet. It's kind of like the way our winter was in December. It was very quiet as far as snowstorms go, and then boom, all of a sudden the bottom drops out, and you get a wake-up call in a hurry. So there may have been a little bit of complacency, but I don't think anybody who's lived in this part of the world for any length of time ever really thinks that they're going to go an entire year without seeing a tornado at least somewhere close to their town. And here in Tulsa, they got one coming right through, and this is the result.
Wow. ABC's Rob Marciano in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Rob, thank you for the live report. We certainly appreciate that. You can keep up with this story in real time as it develops by downloading the ABC News app. Star in the story for updates on the go. I'm Dan Kleffler in New York.